transition mode, this call to whatever is wanting to manifest through all of us. And right now, in the Indian tradition, is the time of what's called Pitra Paksh, which is the time 2 weeks before Navratri, which will start, I believe, on the 9th of October, to honor our ancestors. I have goosebumps. There is no way that this is a coincidence. Like I can feel like electrodes in my head. And the call, the Navratri, the time of the goddess, the time of the feminine, that consciousness manifested in all forms. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, to that goddess, that manifest form of consciousness that is in all forms. As the oppressed and the oppressor, because the oppressed is also hurting. The oppressor is also hurting. Everyone, like you said, is grieving. That is the call, and that is the yoga. And I just wanted to sort of pull that thread because it was just like sitting here. And yoga for me is a practice of allowing. In 2 sentences or a few words, if I had to explain yoga to anybody, I would say it is economy of effort and luxury of inner experience. This came to me as a transition from being, I was born and raised in Bombay, India. Raised Catholic, went to Muslim school, had a gurdwara under my building, learned classical Indian dance that all my Catholic friends were like, you're gonna be Hindu. So, grew up with a whole gamut, went through being atheistic, agnostic, and everything in between. And then wanting to reach people that were in the corporate space, because I live in the Cayman Islands and we are a country of tourism, lawyers, and financial services. And this is the thing that came to me in meditation one day: economy of effort and luxury of inner experience. And that can speak to anybody. And there's so much more to say. We know there's so much more. We could never get it all in. The reason I share this is because I'll give you to a beautiful saying from Bengal, which is in the east of India. And you all know the first part of this quote. And the first part is, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Now, do you know what the Bengalis say? You can take a horse to water. I'm not good at a Bengali accent. I could have South Indian. You can take a horse to the water. You cannot make it drink. But you can make it thirsty. And Trisha, when you came up with this question, maybe not you, but the question came through you. So, how would you explain yoga to someone for the first time? What comes to me is this quote: what is the person with me? What is this reflection of myself, a part of me that I may not have met before, or that I may be avoiding meeting because we're always meeting the people that we need to see things in ourselves. What is this person thirsty for? And how can I speak to that? What arises in me when I meet their thirst? What arises as sensation in my body? And that takes me to another thing that came and see. They said, don't prepare for this. I said, I'm not preparing for it. Too busy. But then, never say never. Because I woke up from my sleep one day, 3 a.m. They always hit at 3 a.m. the moment. It's like, come on, can you not be 4 a.m.? That's the start of Brahma Muhurta. Is what we get from Ayurveda, right? And yoga and Ayurveda are not sister sciences. They coexist. They are together. And in Ayurveda, we always ask about food. We say, what is a food? in Ayurveda we say, it's not about the food. What we say is, who is eating? When are they eating? Why are they eating? And how are they eating? And the state of their agni, their ability to receive. If I have to translate agni in one simple way, it's our ability to be able to receive, to assimilate, and then to eliminate. Right now we're listening. Some of us are open. All of us want to be open. All of us are open in different ways. We'll receive different things. We'll assimilate something. If your head is nodding a lot, like this is really going in, right? And then we'll eliminate what is not relevant to our story or our place at this time. And so if I had to answer to somebody, what is yoga? I would ask myself, who is asking? Who is asking? If it's a 6-year-old kid, right? I might say, and let's talk about kids, right? Because they're just these amazing gurus floating around, always challenging us to calling us out, like who better than a human kid? Oh, I am almost teen. Right? Who's asking? If it's a 6-year-old, I might say it's a way to play with your body and have fun. And I might say, do you know when you feel like, do you ever feel like hitting somebody or saying something that you shouldn't say or that might hurt somebody? Yeah, all the time. Well, yoga is when you feel that little, in India we call it angry, gussa, anger, gussa is a word in Hindi. So I would tell my daughter, when the angry gussa comes and it goes inside your body and it starts tickling you to say, I'm just going to hit this person, or I'm just going to slam this down, it's to feel that and be like, okay, I'm here to listen to you. Can we do something else? What would make you feel good? What do you need? What do you need? If I'm sitting with, most of my clients are C-suite corporate leaders. They come to yoga because they can't sleep and they have insomnia or whatever. I learned I can't start with, let's start with 3 ohms in Sahnava. I'm not disrespecting my tradition. My tradition teaches me to meet people as myself. As the version that went to church and was taught that everything that's not Roman Catholic is Antichrist when you burn in the fires of hell. And I love it. But I can see all those versions of myself, and the ones that I don't even know are in there, right? And so if I have a C-suite person say, well, it's luxury of inner experience, economy of effort, because what are they struggling with? I just don't have enough time, so this board meeting and I'm traveling here and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's not time management, it's energy management, and that is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is not about celibacy, it is about the practice of energy management. What energy? The energy that is within you as consciousness, as prana shakti. How can I honor and expand that energy and know when to conserve it and when to shed it? It's a practice of energy management, not doing more, doing less. It's the practice of subtracting. As a corporate leader, taking the ego out of the equation so that I can lead from a place of true inner guidance that will never, ever exclude anybody, including the need for financial gain. And it speaks to them. If I'm talking to, let's say, a psychologist, because some of those people are my clients, and there's so much trauma in the world and it's exhausting and compassion fatigue. Yoga provides that lens where trauma is by design. And we need to ask, why is it by design? It is by design because it is the catalyst to ask, who am I really? To go through the body that I'm in, to go through the ancestral trauma of oppression and all of those things, all of them, not to ignore any of them, not to condone anything, but to be able to process so that this love that is hungering to burst through becomes present despite Mirabelle as the persona, despite the role, despite the attire, despite all of that. If I'm talking to a veteran, I might say yoga is the practice to allow you to be with guilt and with relief. With pride for what you've done for your country and the knowing that it has caused harm to others and to you, because there are no others. There are no others. Yoga will let you discover that about yourself. Would you give it a chance? Would you give yourself a chance? If I'm talking to a neuroscientist, show me the data. Right? So I think online with the neuroscientist, do all the practices yoga, so it's a bit easier, right? Show me the data. Yoga is that practice that is looking to, that helps you to go from being in default mode network when we're in story all the time, when the narrative takes over the data, which is what I can observe, to central executive network and a harmony of both of those. What am I talking about? Right. And then use the words later. Meet them where they are. I'm talking to a lawyer. It might be yoga is allowing you to be super efficient, super focused on the data, super focused on the voice that you have, because I work with a lot of lawyers and there is a need to be heard. We all have it, but the degree is different. To honor your need to be heard, but not to let that oppress you, so that you burn out trying to give and protect and save. Yoga is a practice for all of these. Oh my God, and here it's 0, 0, 0. It is, of course, a timeless practice. I don't know where we got at that moment. So I will, if I may have 30 more seconds, thank you. I'll end with a story, and I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And this is a story that I heard through a Jesuit priest, Father Andrew de Mello from India. There is a transcription of the story from Ramakrishna Paramahansa. This is the less than 90-second version. So there was a doll made of salt, and she was traveling, trying to find out who she really was. And she traveled long and far, and then she heard one day this sound. It was crashing and roaring, and peaceful and chaotic, and it was mesmerizing. So the salt doll walked towards the sound. And she found herself on very uneven ground. And she saw before her this vast expanse like she had never seen before, of moving water. And she stepped close and she asked this body of moving, crashing, surging, playfully dancing, shouting water, "What are you?" And the water said, "I am the sea." And the salt doll said, "But what is the sea?" And the sea replied, "It is I. If you want to know me, won't you come in?" The salt doll felt pulled magnetically and she stepped into the water. In a few moments as the wave passed by, she noticed that her toes were gone. She was startled, and she said, "But what have you done?" And the sea said, "In order to know something, you must give something." And something shifted in soul to her. The pull inside, the thirst, the hunger was too deep. She was afraid, but she couldn't help herself. And she stepped in completely. Soon she dissolved. And she